from the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. Radio Pilipinas World Service can also be heard on shortwave broadcast through the facilities of the United States Agency for Global Media or Voice of America on the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. I'm your host, Leo Magpayo, and this is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. moved to dispel public speculation on Thursday, assuring Filipinos that the discomfort he experienced the previous night was not life-threatening, calling rumors about his supposed death highly exaggerated. In a recorded message, the president said he is already feeling significantly better. President Marcos confirmed that doctors diagnosed him with diverticulitis, an inflammation or infection of small pouches in the colon, a condition he noted is common among individuals under heavy stress or advancing in age. Despite medical advice to slow down, the president admitted it is difficult to ease his workload. President Marcos also sought to calm public concerns, emphasizing that there is no cause for alarm. The chief executive was brought to St. Luke's Medical Center in Quezon City on Wednesday evening after experiencing discomfort but was discharged shortly after.
I'm fine. I'm feeling very different from the way I was feeling before. Naayos na yung problem. What happened was I now have diverticulitis. It's a common complaint amongst apparently people who are heavily stressed and people who are, I have to admit, growing old.
Overwork kayo, sir eh. Di ba sinabi ng doktor na hinay-hinay muna?
No. Well, yeah, of course, lagi naman sinasabi ng doktor sa akin yun. Pero paano mo naman gagawin yun? Ang daming trabaho.
So, sir, ano mensahe niyo doon sa mga taong nais na kayo mawala sa pwesto?
Okay, huwag kayo muna masyadong ma-excited dahil it's not a life-threatening condition.
So, sir, wala kaming dapat ipag-alala?
Wala. Huwag kayo mag-alala. The rumors of my death are highly exaggerated.
That was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Earlier, Malacañang reported that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s condition remains stable, though he is currently under medical observation after experiencing discomfort Wednesday evening. In a briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the president spent the night under precautionary monitoring and was advised by his doctors to rest. She emphasized that while the specific nature of the discomfort was not disclosed to her, the president continues to perform his duties. Castro assured the public there is no cause for concern, noting that the president was still working even in the early hours of the morning. She suggested that fatigue from his workload was the likely cause. President Marcos has since returned to Malacañang Palace and is expected to proceed with 2 private meetings in the afternoon. The update follows his absence from the Outstanding Young Men 2025 awarding ceremony earlier in the day, where Executive Secretary Ralph Recto represented him. Castro added that the chief executive's scheduled public engagements on Friday may still proceed, pending his doctor's advice.
The president spent the night under medical observation as a precautionary measure after experiencing discomfort. His doctors advise rest and monitoring, and his condition remains stable. The president continued to carry out his responsibilities while under medical observation and has returned to Malacañang.
was Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Malacañang is urging caution as the Philippine peso hovers near the 60 peso to the dollar mark, warning that a breach of that level could carry serious economic consequences, including higher government debt. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is keeping a close watch on currency movements amid global market uncertainty and profit-taking among local traders. The peso strengthened slightly on Wednesday, closing at 59 pesos and 26 centavos from 59 pesos and 45 centavos the previous day. It traded within the 59 peso and 23 centavo to 59 pesos and 26 centavo range, averaging 59 pesos and 32 centavos. Analysts said the uptick was driven by a weaker U.S. dollar and strong demand for the government's $2.75 billion global bond issuance. Castro noted that the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP is prepared to step in if needed, but stressed that the administration aims to keep the peso from slipping beyond 60 pesos. Despite earlier volatility in January, the peso has largely held steady near the 59 level, supported by bond inflows and other stabilizing factors. The palace added that inflation remains manageable and that the government continues to monitor financial market risks, ready to implement corrective measures when necessary.
Ang paghina ng piso ay dulot ng kakulangan sa balanse ng kalakalan at pananalapi. Hindi lamang ito nararanasan ng Pilipinas sapagkat maging ang ibang bansa sa Asia ay may katulad na kalagayan. Nakakaranas din ng paghina ng kanilang mga pera noong 2025. Ipinakikita rin nito ang pangkalahatang pag-igting ng US dollar at ang inaasahang pagkaantala sa pagbaba ng interest rates ng US Federal Reserve. So mas nakatuon po ang BSP sa pagpigil sa labis na paggalaw ng halaga ng piso kaysa sa pagtatakda ng tiyak na antas ng palitan. Kapag tumaas po kasi na 60 pesos, bumaba yung value ng peso, definitely, mag-i-increase yung debt natin because yung palitan po, tataas po yun.
That was Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Thursday, Malacañang is downplaying a second impeachment complaint filed against President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., calling the latest allegations baseless and unsupported by evidence. The complaint, lodged by Bagong Alyansang Makabayan and endorsed by members of the Makabayan bloc, accuses the president of abusing discretionary powers over unprogrammed appropriations and allegedly benefiting from budget-related kickbacks. But Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the accusations amount to speculation. In a palace briefing, Castro said when they claim something is abusive, they really need to prove it. Castro added that if they can't present any evidence, then they're simply making up stories, weaving a narrative. The complaint, filed by Bayan Chair Renato Reyes and former ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro, claims President Marcos betrayed public trust by mishandling unprogrammed funds, budget items released only for urgent or unforeseen needs and subject to presidential discretion. It also cites an alleged BBM parametric formula, described as a system similar to the pork barrel mechanism. Castro said the administration has yet to see any proof such a formula exists. This marks the second impeachment complaint filed against the president since 2022. The first, submitted earlier this week by lawyer Andre De Jesus and endorsed by Pusong Pinoy Party List Representative Journey Jetnisay, accused the president of constitutional violations tied to alleged flood control kickbacks and the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Malacañang has already dismissed that initial complaint as a repetition of previously addressed claims.
Unang-una, ito rin naman po yata ang naging issue patungkol pa rin po sa GAA, patungkol pa rin po sa pagbibigay ng ayuda. Unang-una, nasaan po ba yung sinasabi nating BBM parametric formula? They have to prove that. Okay? Pangalawa po, yung sinasabi yung pork barrel. Mapapatunayan po natin sa mga ginawa ng Pangulo na pinag-ingatan, ulitin po natin, pinag-ingatan po ng Pangulo ang budget. Marami pong na-veto at ang binigyan niyang utos noon sa DBM ay magkaroon ng conditional implementation. Marami po ang mga nasaktan dahil hindi na ibigay ang kanilang mga budget na hinihiling dahil pinag-ingatan po at meron po tayong tinatawag na for later release. At yung mga for later release na yon, karamihan po doon ay hindi na-release dahil kulang po sila sa mga requirements. So, kung ganito lamang po ang kanilang mga magiging akusasyon, muli, malakas po ang loob ng ating Pangulo na wala po siyang nalabag na anumang batas at hindi po siya gumawa ng anumang impeachable offense.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Thursday, Malacañang said any possible surrender or cooperation from fugitive former lawmaker Zaldico is now entirely in the hands of the Office of the Ombudsman, as the administration maintains its policy of non-interference in the probe into alleged anomalous flood control projects. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the government is open to hearing cause statements if these would help uncover the truth, but emphasized that all decisions and safeguards fall strictly under the Ombudsman's authority. Castro noted that has reportedly expressed willingness to coordinate with the Ombudsman, which has earlier assured that any necessary protection will be provided. She added that the palace has not set any conditions for Co's possible surrender, reiterating that such matters are beyond Malacañang's jurisdiction. Castro also stressed that President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. remains firm in his directive to investigate and hold accountable anyone involved in questionable flood control projects. Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vic Rimurria earlier revealed that Co surrendered feelers through Catholic priests who relayed the message to the Ombudsman. Co faces malversation and graft charges over an alleged ghost flood control project worth 289.5 million pesos in Oriental Mindoro Province. 9 of his co-accused have already been arrested.
Sa ating pagkakarinig, siya po ay nais makipag-ugnayan sa Ombudsman. At ang sabi naman din po, even before ng Ombudsman na ang lahat ng proteksyon na kailangan niya ay ibibigay. At kung ito po ay makakatulong para malaman natin ang katotohanan, ang gobyerno po, ang pamahalaan ay open po para malaman kung ano ang kanyang sasabihin. Nasa kamay na po iyan ng Ombudsman kung sila po ay magkikita. Depende na po iyan na basta po ang naislaman ng Pangulo ay lumabas ng katotohanan at kung sino man ang maaaring responsable sa mga maanumalyang flood control projects ay sila maimbestigahan at managot.
I was Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang on Thursday has moved to settle questions surrounding the retirement status of former Philippine National Police or PNP Chief Nicolas Torre III, ending months of uncertainty over his standing in the service. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said Torres' optional retirement is now considered in order, making him eligible to receive full benefits corresponding to a 4-star general. The clarification comes after the National Police Commission announced that Torre had formally retired, an announcement he initially disputed, saying he never filed any retirement papers. Torre currently serves as General Manager of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA, a post to which he was appointed by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. while still retaining entitlement to full 4-star benefits under existing laws. In a palace briefing, Castro said the issue has been ironed out and no further discussions between Torre and the president are needed. Castro added that Torre has accepted that his 4-star rank will be passed on to his successor, Acting PNP Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr., who is expected to be promoted to full general, consistent with the rank traditionally held by the PNP chief. She noted that the episode highlights the need to revisit certain provisions of the PNP law to avoid similar confusion in the future.
Nakausap po mismo natin si General Torre at malamang po ay nagkaroon lang ng konting misunderstanding pero muli the President appointed General Torre as the General Manager of MMDA. He took his office. He is now actively performing his job as the General Manager of MMDA. And for his optional retirement, he will receive full benefits and emoluments as a 4-star general. Accepted po niya yun. Dahil po tinanggap niya po ang posisyon na ito, alam niya naman po kung ano po ang maaaring mangyari at muli, ang mangyayari lamang po, siya po ay tatanggap ng benepisyo, full benefits, at lahat ng emoluments as a 4-star general.
Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang said Thursday that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered a thorough review of the scope and coverage of the proposed anti-dynasty bill, one of the key measures in his legislative agenda. The directive follows a meeting held Tuesday at Malacañang Palace where the president and his team discussed how the bill could effectively curb political dynasties while remaining practical and enforceable. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the discussion centered on defining the levels of prohibition. She added that the meeting also examined which government positions might fall under the ban, whether local, national, or both, and whether restrictions would apply simultaneously or successively. Castro said that the provisions remain under study and will be refined before any recommendations are forwarded to Congress. The anti-dynasty bill seeks to prevent the concentration of political power within families, a long-standing issue in Philippine governance. Castro noted that the administration is weighing how to balance enforceability with political realities on the ground, including dynamics within local governments. No final recommendations have been submitted to lawmakers as discussions continue.
Nag-usapan po doon yung mga maaaring lamanin o ma-propose na provisions para sa anti-dynasty bill dahil ito po ay isa sa mga priority bills ng ating Pangulo. Ang mga napag-usapan ay yung tungkol sa mga levels of ban, yung mga degree of familial relationship, types of relationship considered, consanguinity, affinity, mga positions covered, local ba, national, or both, at kung ang scope of timing of prohibition, simultaneous or successive. So ito po ay inaaral pa po at kung magkakaroon po ng magandang balangkas patungkol dito ay maaari po itong isuggest para po sa anti-dynasty bill.
That was Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, Malacañang is promising full accountability after videos surfaced showing Russian vlogger Vitaly Zdorovetsky allegedly recording content while in government detention. In a press briefing at Malacañang, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said Zdorovetsky had been held at a Bureau of Immigration or BI facility, and some of the footage may have been taken during the early phase of his arrest. She added that the palace will not hesitate to pursue further action if additional personnel are found to have violated protocol. Castro noted that the palace has been coordinating with the Bureau of Immigration to ensure proper procedures inside detention facilities and to prevent similar lapses. She emphasized that the investigation will continue until all issues are resolved and corrective measures are in place. Zdorovetsky posted photos and videos on Wednesday showing himself inside the BI Warden facility at Camp Bagong Diwa in Taguig City. The vlogger has since been deported to Russia after spending about 9 months in detention over multiple incidents involving the harassment of Filipinos. According to the BI's deportation order, Zdorovetsky has been officially classified as an undesirable alien.
Nakausap po natin mismo ang spokesperson ng Bureau of Immigration at ito'y na-detain. Si Russian vlogger ay na-detain sa Bureau of Immigration Detention Facility. At ang mga nauna daw yatang mga video ay no early time ng kanyang pagkaka-arrest. So because of that, marami na po natanggal. 3 po natanggal ng immigration official because of that. At marami po na-confiscate ng mga cellphones. Pero kung meron pa pong iba na maaaring masabi natin na nagkakaroon ng kakulangan, paiimbestigahan pa po ito at kailangan matanggal ang dapat na matanggal sa posisyon kung mayroon pang aabuso.
Was Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can be heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. Radyo Pilipinas World Service is also live on audio streaming. Just download Evox PBS Receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store from your Apple phone. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Just type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.